So the what? What are we asking for? We're asking to remove police from our schools. We want our students to be scholars, not suspects. This has been developed by community members of the African American Police Advisory Group as recommendations to remove student resource officers from Providence Public Schools. This proposal does not include the many recommendations of active young people that have been fighting for this reform for years. There are a number of active groups, including, but not limited to, Providence Student Union, Arise, PRISM, Youth in Action, and DARE. The facts. The RIDE website states that in Providence, 769 students in the school year 2018 to 19 were referred to law enforcement, and 140 of those were criminally charged. Nationally, the crisis of discrimination in student arrests is well documented at 1.6 million. Students across the United States attend a school with school police, but not a school counselor. Black students represent 16% of student enrollment. They represent 27% of students referred to law enforcement and 31% of students subjected to a school-related arrest. White students represent 51% of enrollment, 41% of students referred to law enforcement, and 39% of those arrested. Recommendations for the 2020-2021 school year. Drawing on the resources of the Urban Innovation Partnership to fund the needed personnel in the Providence Public School Department. We recommend student resource officers, SROs, not be stationed in schools.
Just one moment, Anita. I'm so sorry. There's just some folks in the waiting room. I'm just going to let in. Sorry about that.
We would like to see instead the city will use this year to secure funding and partners needed to implement recommendations for the 2021-2022 school year to build out a plan to create a volunteer school safety corps with a focus on volunteer parents or legal guardians, and to reallocate funding to mental health providers in schools. For the purpose of this memo, mental health professional is defined as a school counselor, a school psychologist, or a school social worker who has received the necessary RIDE certifications to practice in a school environment. We strongly recommend that mental health providers are pooled from the community and represent the demographics of the student body. The recommendations for the 2021-2022 school year. SROs will be removed from within schools. Whereas we understand the principal has the authority to make the decision to use SROs, it is required that all SROs will be reserved to respond to school calls as needed only after being in touch with the parents. Volunteer school safety corps will be embedded in elementary, middle, and high schools to replace SROs. Please refer to the Met High School outline. Volunteer parents or school safety corps will be responsible for activities such as monitoring school campus for safety or behavior issues, redirecting or de-escalating students who are misbehaving on school grounds, supporting students with behavioral challenges who may need to take breaks during class, referring students with regular behavioral challenges to social workers, principals, or other administrators that have been trained to manage all situations, also referred to the Met High School as referenced, as well as the National Police Free Schools Initiative. Recommendations continued. The city will work with Providence Public School Department to explore a variety of options to secure resources to implement this program. Potential options include partnering with an accredited and certified organization such as Nonviolence Institute or other community organizations to train all staff members in schools. Teachers must represent the demographics of the student body and should be pulled from such communities. Recruiting volunteers from local colleges, especially those with teacher or social worker training programs and or graduates as peer counselors. Recommendations continued. The city will work with RIDE and PPSD and parents to increase the number of mental health professionals based in schools to support students' general social, emotional needs and address behavioral challenges. The mental health professionals will be in addition to the School Safety Corps volunteer parents. Mental health professionals will be responsible for activities such as, but not limited to, referral to conducting psychological assessments and testing, developing IEP and 504 plans with families and other school staff, providing training to teachers, administrators, school safety monitors, and volunteer parents or legal guardians on creating a trauma-informed, culturally relevant, supportive school culture, referring students and families to more extensive outside service providers as appropriate. Followed through to completion when students are referred for emotional or behavioral evaluations. We'd like to take this time to open it up for any commentary, testimonies from anybody in the community, or any questions.